Oh, for content purposes. Apology. Lisigo. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, the technical panelists.
Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Tobile. I'm running a company I'm running a construction company. I'm doing renovations. I do a little bit of deco interior designing as well. I'm also a carpenter. Thank you. Okay. And again, thanks for the opportunity to Nico and the Visionary Corner. Okay, so what I'm going to talk about is we're going to talk about company's compliance. So for you to run a company, whether you're in a construction, the certificates needed, or when you're running, anything. If you're running a liquor store, obviously you need to have some licenses and all that. So I've got some questions for the panelists. Okay, so I'll start. So I'm not sure where it's gonna go to. So it goes as follows: how does companies comply with registration?
Hi, good day to one and all, and thank you for having me. And just a disclaimer before I even say anything. This is just merely my opinion and it shall not be construed as legal advice. But you are obviously welcome to book a consultation for legal advice. And now back to the question: how does a company comply with registration? Okay. Generally, you'd find compliance with, amongst any other thing. From registration, how it's run, and directors' duties, and its deregistration, you'll find it from the Companies Act 71 of 2008. That is the main act that governs how an entity is registered or deregistered. You must also bear in mind that it is part of, or it is amongst one of the most progressive laws in the world, because it is detail orientated and it governs from registration to deregistration. Ivan here can also elaborate further.
Good day, everyone. My name is Ivan from Pretoria. I'm a compliance officer and a consultant, legal consultant. We normally adjudicate at Pretoria High Court. So as my brother stated about compliance, specifically registration of the company, I would also add as a normal basis that we all know that when you register a company, you register at CIPC. However, it also depends on the nature and extent of the company that you're running, because even if you can register the companies at CIPC, there are some companies that need further registration. For example, if maybe you are running a company of machine salon, yes, you can register at CIPC as a PTOLTD, it's fine. But then, in order for that company to be legally binding, to be recognized, you also need to register at National Credit Regulator based on Section 40 of your National Credit Act 34 of 2005. Because of National Credit Act 34 of 2005 is the law that governs creditors if you lend the money. Same applies as maybe you are running a business where you sell food. Yes, you can register that company, but then you also need further requirements such as certificate of acceptability to ensure that your food reached or satisfied the requirements of safety, you understand, and good quality. So registering a company, you can register a company, but you should know that you need at least further requirements to run that company. Even if maybe you're running a business of liquor, we know that you need further requirements. You need to register that company and also have a license. You understand, whether it's off consumption or on consumption, it depends. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Did anybody get that, or you need more elaboration? Is everything clear? So, what clauses must be included in a contract?
Well, in terms of clauses in a contract, contracts are not the same, but generally there's what we call boilerplate clauses. Boilerplate clauses are clauses that you'll find in each and every contract. It doesn't matter the nature or extent of that contract. For instance, a non-variation clause. That each and everything or differences or a change in the agreement must be reduced to writing, and both parties must consent to such.
As my brother stated about those types of clauses that must be included in a contract, when you draft a contract, you must have essential terms. You cannot draft a contract without essential terms. Essential terms are the terms that make the contract binding. You cannot draft a contract without your name there, or without your ID, or without the scope of the contract, or without a breach of the contract. Because obviously, if you have a contract, if someone breaches a contract, you must have consequences, whether you claim damages or you cancel the contract. And also, clauses that can be included will also have natural terms that they apply automatically. Could be passing of risk as well. We also have incidental terms that can be included. Incidental terms could be terms that parties they decide to include. Maybe parties can decide to include force majeure, or parties can decide to include a jurisdiction if in case there is a dispute on that nature of the contract, where you can deal with the dispute of that contract. So it depends on the contract or nature and extent of the contract, as my brother stated here.
Okay, I think I want to cut it down, but I think I have a lot of questions. One more. How does a company ensure through marketing and advertisement? Ensure advertisements.
Hi guys. I've been itching to talk. Of course, I'm in PR and marketing. Hey, so my name is Tabelo Lizie, and I run an organization called Youth to Power, where basically we trying to change the narrative whereby power to the people, even we know that power is incoming. So what we do is teach young entrepreneurs practical marketing and public relations skills so that they can sustain and grow their businesses. And currently I'm also an account executive at PR and Brand Network based at Hyde Park. Coming to her question, I feel like you structured the questions based in law. I'm close. Because she said, like, how do you ensure? What was the question again?
Ensure true, rightful way of marketing and advertising. How do you ensure a company? How do company advertise?
Oh, okay, cool. So, how I'm gonna answer your question is that or let me rephrase it, is that you say how should company market their businesses basically. Okay, for me, coming from a public relation point of view, I would say that it is very imperative that businesses, when you go out there to market and brand your business, focus on authentic storytelling. Focus on where you are currently. Focus on where you coming from and where you want to go, and that's where you need to structure your branding or structure how you want to market your business. Because I'm saying this because of, if you're going to be authentic with your storytelling, you will never run out of ideas, number one, and also you're not going to dilute yourself in the market space that you are in or in the industry that you are in, because of already, if your story is authentic and is true to yourself, you will always stick to that. Come up with a story that is not relatable to you, you're going to get your customers lost. Because of now, you started as this person who is humble beginnings, hey, we are go-getters, chigi, we're not so chinchi, you know, yeah. My bro last time said, like, you give someone money, the next thing, over time on walk. That's the thing also about marketing. You need to be true to your story and stick to your story. If you could check, for example, let's make an example, the story about the Walk Your Journey, right? Their story has been Walk Your Journey, Never after one point, then it changed. Oh yeah, what? No, it's Walk Your Journey. It motivates the customers to walk their journeys. Each and every time you buy the shoe, you already know where you buying the shoe to go and get your purpose, to you go and want to achieve something, and it also gives you that sense of belonging, because probably when you're on your own, you're walking your own journey. So it gives you that motive. So number one, businesses, you have to ensure that, make sure that your business story is authentic and is true to it resonates with the people that you're advertising to.
Okay, I have another question. Whether company owners are aware of such compliances? If not, what could be done for them to comply? Compliance.
Okay, guys, sorry man, I made a mistake. This was supposed to be the panel facilitator. I confused them with this lady. So no one is confusion, man. My head is all over the place. So I've realized when she walks in, she was supposed to take over. Can I please relieve you? So look how
Thank you so much. Oh my gosh.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. So I'm sticking to the old program, and I've been told there's a change of plans. I knew that we're going on stage just after 2 o'clock. But anyway, it's fine. I'm told I have a look-alike here. I'm Lesego, I'm a broadcaster. I'm also into PR and marketing as a consultant, and I'm also a digital marketing facilitator. So today, my panelists here, we will be engaging. I'll continue from where they left off, but I'll be focusing more on the tech elements, technology, how they've embraced technology in their businesses, in their entrepreneurial journey. And our legal expert here has a lot of questions. I know that they are outstanding. So I think once we finish the tech elements, then we can go back to those questions. All right. I don't know where we can start. Maybe from that side, the PR and marketing. You know, in my experience, a lot of people confuse PR. They don't know what PR is. They don't know the difference between PR or between advertising or between marketing. They get all that confused. But the common denominator in all those aspects, be it PR, marketing, branding, you want to expose your business. You want to expose the brand, right? To let it be known out there. So to my first panelist, my question would be, how have you now embraced technology in you putting your business out there? Maybe someone on the floor wants to know, okay, I've done flyers, I've done posters, I've painted, be it the wall advertising, whatever. How now can I use technology to get the message of my business or my brand out there?
What I would tell young businesses or the businesses that we work with in terms of they would come and ask for proposals in terms of maybe social media and all that. What we add more, we use AI generated advertising. Whether we go to Google Ads, whether we use Meta, currently it's some things that businesses need to take space to. Because you can create that flyer, you can create that content, then it will sell out anymore. So you can also post it so that you could make sure when you reach your audience, the one that you want to speak to, you make sure that they reach that message. You just can go Google Ads, make sure that with Google Ads you can check the analytics of it. You can check Meta, the analytics of it, or what type of content it's giving, what type of content creates engagement to your business and all that. So businesses could just go there and check AI to Google Ads and all that, so that they could make sure that their message, their flyers that they have created for their businesses goes and reach a wider range of people.
Thank you so much. And he's mentioned some very, very important pointers when he talks about analytics. It's very important as a business person to monitor what people are saying about your business, to monitor the growth and the progress. If you post, for example, on Facebook, you're not posting for fun, right? So you need to see how many reactions you have, all right, and how that post has carried your message forward, all right? Now, I believe our other panelist is an advertising guru, right? You're not an advertising. You are? You're both legal? Oh, okay, all right. I wanted to ask about advertising, so I'll go back to our PR panelist, PR and marketing, just to emphasize about advertising. People believe that it's expensive to advertise their businesses, right? But it's an important element that you need. So thank goodness we're in the era of technology where all you need is Wi-Fi. But he mentioned important important points such as boosting, all right? And people think, okay, that's expensive, but look at the price of a billboard. If you see a billboard, that's what, over 20,000, depending on the location. But if you are to have a digital placement, maybe the digital ad, whatever, how much is it to advertise on social media? Let's talk about boosting, let's talk about all those elements, roughly.
It's not expensive to use social media to market or make sure that you get your reach. First of all, you just have to focus on probably the location that you are in. Number one, are you targeting 100 meters from your location? Are you targeting around the area, around the province? And you can just market. Currently working on this other project, and the budget, I think it's 7.2, and it's for every week. No, 7.2 thousand. So it's only, and it's separated based on weeks. So each week it's 1.8, Facebook 500, Instagram it's 400. That's per week. So you see, like, it's not that much more expensive. You just have to focus on what are you boosting on, so that you could check your return on investment. You're not just going to boost every post fair amount. So you're just going to be specific on the type of content that you're going to post. So I'm just saying that it's not that much more, it's not that expensive. You just have to ensure for whatever content that you're going to be posting, you're going to get the ROI.
Right, quickly, before we run out of time, I wanted figures. Can 20 Rand boost a post? It can, all right? So we're looking at amounts as little as 20 Rand going upwards, right? So it's not that expensive to boost a post, all right? Now, quickly to our legal experts. Now, we're still talking about technology, and technology sometimes makes us a little excited, right? And then we just write whatever. I'll give you an example. There's a celebrity, an artist, Shandesh, I think you know her. She went to perform recently out of the country, and then she was talking all sorts of nasty things about the country. You know, there are no Mercedes-Benz here, hey, the people here are poor, na 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 na. What? And that's on social media. Now, the legalities of that, what can it do to a brand? What must we be aware of when we are posting? Because sometimes we think, well, it's my page, it's my post, I can write whatever I want, all right? How important is it for us as entrepreneurs to be careful of what we say when we are using technology to market our businesses?
Well, without even having to engage on the merits of that example that you used, but one should always try to refrain from posting anything that violates a person's dignity. You must remember that a violation of someone's dignity, particularly on social media, opens doors for claims such as your defamation of character. Particularly, what would qualify such a claim would be that there must be a statement that is made public regarding a particular person, and that statement must be inhuman and must violate a particular person's dignity. So we should always, of course, use social media responsibly and refrain from violating people's rights. Ivan can also elaborate further on that.
Okay, so as we know that we have fundamental rights in our Constitution, Chapter 2. We know that Section 15 of the Constitution says that everyone has a right to freedom of speech or freedom of expression. But that right is limited by law of general application. It doesn't mean that if you have a right to freedom of speech, you have to abuse that right. You must exercise that right in order for you to benefit the company as well. If you advertise or you state anything under your page, you must make sure that whatever you're stating, it doesn't affect the dignity of the company and the reputation of the company, because freedom of speech or freedom of opinion or freedom of expression is limited. It doesn't mean that you'll have to abuse it. Thank you.
All right, let's quickly give them a round of applause for that. All right, I think I've just 5 minutes left. I don't know if my 5 minutes includes questions. Does it include Q&A? Q&A will be last. Okay, so if you have any questions right now, please be jotting them down. All right, we are in an era of the fourth industrial revolution. There's just so much that technology is it's taken over, whether we like it or not. All right, and I'm a person who's old school. I really prefer some of the traditional ways of doing things. You know, so sometimes this technology can be overwhelming for me, but we have no choice. We need to get with the times, all right? And I'm going to quickly go back to our marketing and a PR expert, and just quickly, in a few seconds or a minute, tell us how important it is for us to really catch up with the times. There are some businesses that are refusing, I don't want to make examples, they are refusing to catch up. You Google a company, it's not there. For example, some guest houses and B&Bs, they are not available online. But we're in an era where we have Airbnb. If I travel to Soweto and I'm looking for a place to stay, I'll go online. But there's some who really believe that, no, I'm good. Let's quickly just touch on that, the importance of catching up with the advancement of technology.
I think it's very imperative that as businesses now that we catch up with social media per se, because of that's where everything is currently. We mentioned boosting earlier on. Those things happen social media wise, technology. I'm also that person now old school. I don't wanna lie. I was the person who hated AI. I believe in writing content from scratch. I would draw bubbles, mind maps, put in there. I'm that kind of person. And number one, I have my own reasons because of as I said, I believe in storytelling, and I can say for the AI, it's far away from knowing our stories. Or we have to put our prompts there. But yes, businesses can catch up using AI in terms of maybe doing research on how to do better than their competitors and all that. Number one, websites, guys. There's things called SEOs that businesses need to make sure that they get on and they know the search words, the keywords. If maybe you are situated in Shawela and you are a hairdresser, you use SEOs. When people search best hairdresser in Shawela, you make sure your business pops up. So I think nowadays this is what businesses need to catch up in terms of technology.
All right, thank you for that. Quickly, if maybe you are not too familiar with the terms, SEO is search engine optimization, so that when I just put LA, automatically Lab Lifestyle comes out. All right. Now he mentioned AI, artificial intelligence. I want to quickly pick our legal brains. There's a problem constantly with plagiarism. I take your work and I use it as if it's my own. Now, in this era of AI, what could be the challenges and repercussions, and how can we avoid plagiarism? Quickly.
Well, on that note, there is actually a case law to the effect. I just don't have it at the back of my mind, where a candidate attorney used AI to generate pleadings in a court proceeding. And unfortunately, that AI quoted sections and statutes and legislations that do not exist. And therefore, the principal was was charged with professional negligence because he had to ensure that whatever was in the papers was correct. So in a nutshell, what I'm saying is that AI will never replace lawyers. So we should run away from the fact of seeking legal advice from AI.
All right.
So, as we know, AI, you get that information from internet and it's generated already. So, with that information, if you take that information, we all know that you're stealing someone's ideas. It's not your ideas. So, there are consequences thereof. If it's a plagiarism, we know that it's misconduct. And also, it could be a theft of information, it could be a theft of data. So it's very, very important to introduce programs to educate people about plagiarism and educate people about AR, and also inform them about the consequences of using that information they get from AR.
All right, a quick round of applause to our beautiful panelists. We've run out of time, but that's it from our tech discussion. Remember, use technology, but use it responsibly, all right? My name is Lesova. Thank you very much for your attention.
All right, let's give it up for the tech panelists. I have learned a lot. Search engine optimization, all right. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, the last topic of the day. Unfortunately, we are out of time. Yeah, if you have any questions before we close, you can ask your questions. Without further ado, the topic of the day: the highs and lows of entrepreneurship.
Okay, the next panelist, can you please, Busisi, when she's going to facilitate the panelist, can you please have Lebucha, is part of the panelist. Can we have our Hrutman, Mr. T, is part of our panelist. Can we also have Muzi the Mover, is part of our panelist. Yeah, then this is the last one. Then it's lunch, we network and so, yeah, thank you so much, guys, for coming. Okay, yeah, thanks.
I'm gonna start it now.